everyone and welcome back to the worst tweets of the week. We are here for the worst tweets episode of the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix after what was controversial, spectacular, ridiculous, whatever you want to call the penultimate round of the 2021 season. But what it has set up is a finale where the two protagonists go in level on points. So let's get into the worst tweet from the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. So we start off with a tweet which Formula One put out saying, "This is going to be fun looking at the new Jeddah circuit." And someone just put, "Not when Mercedes run their illegal car again." It's not funny. I think this bloke has been in every single episode so far. He's probably wanting us to take the bait, and I take the bait every time, but it makes for content. So we go to qualifying, and Max Verstappen on that brilliant pole lap, the almost pole lap, but it was just an almost pole lap. He did put it in the wall. This fan saying, when he went purple second sector, I screamed, "Come on, you have to crash, you have to crash." And then he did, and now I feel like but wow, what a phenomenal lap.
Some men just want to watch the world burn.
I don't incite any accidents, especially at the high speed of Jeddah, the circuit, on a qualifying lap. Like, you want somebody to crash. That really is a very, very, very low thing to want. Quite ridiculous, to be honest with you. You'd never want someone to crash. Like, you might have a preference on a driver, but you don't want to see somebody else crash just for the sake of it and potentially injure themselves when going at such speed. And we have another tweet saying, that would have been one of the most incredible qualifying laps in recent times had Max pulled that off. Now, it's not the actual content of this tweet that I don't agree with, because he did drive 26 fantastic corners. It's more the fact that he didn't pull it off. And sometimes it's the even fine margins that define championships, that define this sport. I mean, we've had instances in qualifying where two drivers have set identical lap times. I think it was Sebastian Vettel and Daniel Ricciardo in Azerbaijan in 2016, both set identical lap times. And it's all about fine margins, and the fact that Max crashed, he overstepped the margin. And, you know, whilst it was brilliant for two sectors, it came undone in the final one. And so from my side, I would say I have very little sympathy. One of the biggest challenges of a street circuit is getting around the actual circuit. Michael Schumacher, to finish first you have to finish. And so, yeah, very little sympathy from me. And so we get into the incident, the most controversial incident that we had all weekend. And someone's just put, Lewis just straight up refused to overtake Max and then ran into him. Regardless of whether or not he knew Max was giving the place back, he had time to go around him. What if Max's engine was going? That doesn't give you an excuse to run into the back of them. Now, I've seen a lot of people try and agree with stances like this, but personally, I just can't do it. I think Martin Brundle's column put it best, where he said Lewis would have normally sailed by, but his instinct told him that there was something more sinister there. Something more cynical, and I would be inclined to agree with Martin. I think that whole column is fantastic if you've read it on Sky Sports, talking about the separate incidents and what this might mean for Abu Dhabi and so on and so forth. And I think Martin Brundle is absolutely spot on. I think it was a very strange incident, but I'm not sure it was, Lewis Hamilton's such a noob because he ran straight into the back of Max Verstappen. I think there's more to it, and I think he smelt tactics, he smelt foul play. So we get into the first of two tweets from John Warren, who started this season. I think I have a photo of him at Silverstone wearing a Mercedes shirt, and here he is now in his Max Verstappen shirt, promoting things like this. Something at its finest from Max. Love it.
You know what I mean? It's just a little cheeky.
Was it, or did he just stamp on the brake pedal and was then penalised for it? Do we not sort of draw the line at dangerous driving at some point? It was dangerous driving, and he was penalised for it. I think that sets a precedent. Like, the FIA have done themselves no favours by the let them race type thing, which has kind of come back to bite them. That's not Max's fault. He was worried. He didn't know why he got a penalty in Saudi when he did the exact same thing in Brazil. So the FIA have shot themselves in the foot. So I'm not personally blaming Max, but deliberately trying to cause an accident, I'm not sure where the sort of fun in that is. We kind of want fair racing, not terrible racing. So John, bad tweet. And another one from John. Kudos to Lewis for doing so well with a broken front wing, but that was his worst race win in terms of driving standards. I'm not quite sure what Lewis did wrong. the miscommunication with the team for the race win, where, you know, he clipped the back of Max, having Max stamped on the brakes. If you watch Max's onboard footage, the revs in third gear just disappear. So I'm not really sure what Lewis did wrong. His worst win in terms of driving standards. I mean, the USA 2015 you could argue was worse, where Hamilton and Rosberg really came to blows. You just seem to have a very short-term memory or some rose-tinted glasses for Max Verstappen. That's about all I can say, really. Now we get into the best tweets of the week, and I've got 3 because I needed something to cheer me up, because F1 Twitter was a horrendous place this week. It was just an absolute mess. And yeah, I just didn't want to see anything else. So in qualifying, Max, I need a tow. 5 seconds later, in the wall. I thought that was quite funny. Obviously, it's not nice to see someone crash, but the tweet was quite funny because he needed extra pace, and now he's back on the back of a tow truck. And then we have another fantastic tweet, and Christian Horner said quite a few stupid things this week, but probably none more so than this one. Sector 1 is more driver focused, and Sector 2 and 3 is more about the engine. Anyone can drive in a straight line. So he's basically saying that Max drove better than Lewis. Christian, Max crashed in Sector 3, which apparently doesn't require any skill.
Looks badly damaged.
Oh no. Oh, that's just slightly awkward, isn't it? Just ever so slightly awkward. I know you want to defend your driver, but you can't go to that extreme means without making yourself look like a right fool. And finally, this just kind of sums up F1 Twitter for this week. Open Twitter on a Monday morning, did this bloke, Fraud Milton, Crash Stappen, Agenda, British Buyers, and FIA MG Mercedes. Why can't we just be civil and appreciate the championship battle we're having? 369 points, 369.5 points each going into the final round. The first time since 74 where we've had a tie drivers' championship going into the final round. Like, can we just appreciate it, please? And Sunday's going to be messy. I can just feel that there's going to be controversy. It's not like one of them is just going to drive off into the sunset. Although I might jinx it and it might be the most boring race of the season. But I sense that there's going to be controversy. But if you did enjoy this episode, make sure to give the video a like and let me know what you thought of the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix in the comment section below. Subscribe if you aren't new around here and you want to see Formula 1 content, and I will catch you in the next one. Later, guys.